Hello everyone, welcome to Torrens University. I'm Lauren Goblet, I'm the State Manager of ALIA, so you probably emailed me. Please come and have a talk to me afterwards if you'd like to have a chat about today or ALIA or anything library related. I'd like to have a talk. So this is Anna, and I sent her bio around. I don't have it with me, so I thought you'd talk about yourself. Yeah, thank you very much. We will have a talk that will go for
will be about 30 minutes.
30 minutes,
Yeah.
and then
Barbara will also have a chat and a bit of a talk.
great. So Barbara Coate will talk about the library services here at Torrens University, and then we'll have a tour of the campus, which will be great. It's a beautiful campus. Okay, thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Lauren. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you out on this wet and cold day. So thank you very much for making your way over to this side of town and to have a look at our new campus here at Torrens University. Torrens University is Australia's newest university. It's the 40th university in Australia, and we haven't had a new university in Australia for quite some time. Torrens University is part of the Laureate International Group, and they're a private university, so only the second private university in Australia, obviously, to Bond University. Bond University was obviously input some time ago, and so it's quite exciting what we've been able to actually have and be a part of here in Adelaide. Torrens University offers a range of study programs, anywhere from public health, Masters of Business Administration, project management, multimedia design. The classroom that we're in today, the multimedia design students actually use this classroom, and they've been doing a bit of brainstorming this morning on a few things. And so we have a lot of different courses of business, commerce as well that we actually offer. I've been with
education.
And education, yes.
Shouldn't forget
Education. And so the university also obviously has some library services to support the academic activities that go on here at the university, and that's where Barbara Coate will talk to you about those fantastic services that we actually have. Because we're a new university and having a library service that actually goes with that, it's been quite some time, particularly in Adelaide, that we've actually had a new library and library service, particularly in the 21st century of the digital age. And so that's very focused where Barbara's services actually lie very much in the digital realm, and she'll take you through how we're actually providing some of those library services a little more this afternoon. And thank you to Lauren for bringing us all together and everybody to the campus as well. So in terms of what we'll talk about a little bit today is, as a librarian, once upon a time, and continuing with those values and skill sets that I actually acquired a long time ago, the first thing that I've done is Lauren had indicated a couple of topics to actually talk about. So being a good librarian, the first thing I did was actually go on and identified what are the keywords that I needed to actually talk about today. So I will cover off these things: transferable skills in librarianship, how to market yourself, and career enhancements through possibly managing project management, how project management actually fits in terms of librarianship and the body of knowledge. Because we're at a university and we're in a classroom, I'll get you to do some activities as well in the next 30 minutes as we go along. So it breaks up me actually speaking for a while as well. Just in terms of people coming to the campus, so we've got two sets of toilets, one just behind this black wall here, and another set is if you go past the kitchen on the left, go down the passageway, there's some more toilets down there. If we have a fire, we haven't yet, then we actually go to the car park across the road there, out the side or the front doors there. We've got some tea and coffee as well, and so we've got two tea and coffee machines. Depends what sort of tea and coffee you like, particularly the coffee. There's a Nescafe machine over this side in this kitchen, and then there's a pod machine and some tea and coffee and some tinned coffee, for want of a better word, over in this kitchen here as well. So please do have a look around while you're here today. So in terms of deconstructing the things that we're going to talk about today, I'll start off with a little bit about my journey and how I fit into Torrens and where I actually came from to get here and how librarianship actually fits into that. And in terms of transferable skills, talking a little bit too about the language that we use in librarianship and how it compares to some other bodies of knowledge, and in turning that around and using that to be able to transfer your skills to particularly other types of employers that you may not have actually thought about, and how the body of knowledge that we actually acquire actually is quite transferable to do all sorts of interesting things. So in terms of what I do here at Torrens, I'm a lecturer in project management, and I also teach operations management in the MBA program. I've been with Torrens since January this year, and I'm also an IT consultant as well. I manage lots of projects, I review projects, I identify what sort of systems people should actually have, and that includes not only their technology, such as the databases, but also their processes and the people, or the types of people that they actually need to actually implement things. My area of specialisation is obviously information, but also the integration of information. My doctorate was in the integration of 2 different types of IT systems and how information governance actually is a success factor in ensuring that when you're integrating IT systems, such as 2 different databases together, how information governance can make that integration project actually successful. So in terms of how did I get here today? When I was preparing for this last night and reviewing some things, I actually realised that I have in my bio that I've been doing things for about 15 years. Last night when I was going through and reflecting and having a bit of a look and having a look at some dates, and I actually went back and had a look at my transcript. I've got a Bachelor of Arts in Information Management in 1993. So I've been doing things for 25 years. And so somewhere along the line I've actually lost 10 years, somewhere along the line. Darwin might do that too.
Darwin.
Yeah, I always blame it on Darwin. So instead of doing things for 15 years, I've actually been doing them for about 25. So I graduated from University of Ballarat, librarianship course. It was a fantastic course. Obviously 25 years ago, higher education was a very different world to what it is today. We didn't have digital online teaching, as I do a lot of my teaching now. We didn't have this type of technology in the rooms. Obviously we had a computer, and I did my assignments on a computer, a very, very old computer that printed out in square letters in dots, and you can see every individual dot. But in terms of everything that I've actually done over the last 25 years, and I'll describe some of those things to you as well, the key thing is passion for information. That's the key thing, that's actually the glue that's held everything together. And all the experiences that I've had, all the different types of careers and job titles that I've actually had, and all the different experiences that I've had, is all because of a passion for information. And that passion for information started when I was a child. Reading was a big passion in our family, and obviously that's one of the core values that we actually have as a profession and a professional in librarianship is information, access to information, information literacy. So some of those core actual skills that I've actually had all my life, and they continue to actually carry through. So passion for information is something that's actually been the glue through all sorts of different activities and functions that I've actually had. In terms of with my degree was a very traditional librarianship type degree. I did cataloguing and all the other sorts of subjects that if we've got students in the room today that you actually do. The thing that might be different than what you do today, but it does depend which degree in Australia you actually do for librarianship, is I actually did a lot of computing database structures, as in I actually had to build a library database. But library databases were a lot simpler 25 years ago as well. So we were given a trial database structure to actually build, which meant that we needed to learn about data structures. And you all know about data structures, you know about metadata, you know about fields, you know how to search for certain words and how the retrieval mechanisms actually work and how the information gets displayed. So we all here know about document structures, data structures and information structures. That can take you so many places and allow you to do so many things. And as I will talk a little bit today and get you to do in terms of an exercise, is the types of language that's very common in other areas and other disciplines, body of knowledge, is very similar to our own. And we actually have some very core values and core skill sets, knowledge and experience that you can take into so many other different fields. In terms of some of the things that I've actually done over the years, I've been a program director of a graduate diploma library and information management course at Charles Darwin University. I've been a partner in a consulting firm, in an IT consulting firm out of Melbourne and Asia Pacific region. I worked for the embassy in Japan on a library database, implementation of a library database for them. And some of the other things that I've actually done, obviously reviewing information services, including libraries and the types of librarians and how they actually fit into the business and how you actually fulfill the strategy of an organisation by actually having an information professional such as a librarian on staff, particularly in hospitals. Librarians actually being attached to clinical teams and actually being a part of those clinical teams on the wards and the improvement in the services that can actually bring. So I've done lots and lots of different things over the years. I've lived in quite a few different states except for Western Australia, Tasmania and New South Wales, and I've done a few stints overseas as well. And so most people think that it depends which camp or discipline or who you're talking to at the time. Some people think that you're a librarian, which is all good and fine, and they're things that actually stay with you for years. And first and foremost, I am a librarian, and that's what I studied first. But then you find that those actual skills and values that you actually have are the same or very similar, just the words are very different that are used for different disciplines as you actually move through. Particularly here in Adelaide, I've lived here for just over 4 years. Before I came here, I'd sat on the National Board and the Management Committee for Australian Computer Society. I was the youngest person to actually sit on that Management Committee and the National Board. And being the Australian Computer Society, it's a society that's a lot older than the Library Society, believe it or not, and has a certain type of people that actually sit on that National Management Committee. They're all male and they're all quite old as well. So I'm not sure whether the first time I rocked up, whether they thought I was providing the tea and coffee for them or what was going to happen. But it was an absolutely fantastic experience. So here in Adelaide, a lot of people actually know me in terms of from an IT background and think I'm an IT person or a technologist or whatever, the computer science type person. My doctorate is through University of South Australia, School of IT and Engineering. And so a lot of my publications are actually in engineering asset management. So some people from that realm actually think that I'm an engineer. I've done engineering, but because of where my funding and things like that, where it's actually from. So it depends who you're talking to at the time, how they actually perceive you. But as I keep saying, the underlying thing is information. Information is the key that's taken me through all of the different guises in life, all of the different job roles, all of the different opportunities, all of the different places that I've lived and the things that I've actually done. It's because of information and actually starting off with a degree in information, being librarianship was the best thing that I could have ever actually done. One of the things that, one of the many good things I suppose about doing librarianship, particularly as your base degree, is the skill sets that it actually gives you. And in this day and age, 21st century, world of digital technology, data and information is the key thing that makes the world go round. If you understand those structures and those data structures, as we do as librarians, then you're streets ahead of everybody else actually around you. And so in terms of the things that you can actually do with that is quite amazing. But it is in terms of the language that actually gets used in terms of how we do things and the transferability of that. So it doesn't matter who you're actually talking to and how they actually perceive you. It's the base skill set and core values that you actually have as librarians that will take you through all periods of your life. So if you came to librarianship late, you probably missed out on a great lot of stuff, but you've actually found the key to actually going forth now as well. So excellent, that's great. It's just a matter of how you actually describe what you need to describe for other people to understand that you know just as much as what they actually do. In terms of librarianship, you actually come out of a degree as a professional without actually having to actually go and do extra practicum work, extra study, extra 2 years in a place to actually say that you've actually, and prove that you've actually got particular skills. In other professions, you do have to do quite lengthy periods of time for some of them to actually prove that as well. But in terms of librarianship, you come out as a very well-grounded graduate. You get to do business subjects, you get to do management, you get to do accounting, you get to be exposed to information technology, you get to be exposed to communication, other people, and you get a practical component part of your course as well. So there's lots of different facets of your actual degrees that when you walk out with that degree, you've already got lots of things that other people don't actually have. And so, for example, with project management and the Institute of Project Management and the project management body of knowledge, you'll see in another slide very soon that the skills that they actually say as the core body of knowledge is very general. It's all about communication, the soft skills that we actually talk about a lot. Communication, interpersonal skills, leadership, management, that type of stuff. But what they actually want to see is a very specific display of skills in project management. Can you actually, their certification is that you do a degree in anything, you can manage some projects. After 5 years of managing some projects, as long as you have learnt the terms in the project management body of knowledge, the PMBOK as we call it, and that you've got the terminology under your belt, you sit certification exam, you're now certified. You can go and manage a $50 million project, you can go and build a hospital without any practical actual experience. You can do degrees now in project management, such as what we do here, and what I actually teach in here at Torrens. And as part of that, you do now do practical components like you do with your librarianship degrees. But say with a librarianship degree, you do so many different things, but there's also certain things that you do that makes you a librarian in terms of the body of knowledge. But those core skills and the values that you actually have in terms of literacy, information access, how data is structured, how information is shared, how you retrieve that information, is applied in so many other different disciplines these days, such as IT. And in terms of my membership with Australian Computer Society and how I come to be on the board of Australian Computer Society, I didn't do an IT degree. I didn't do any other, well, I did a couple of other degrees, but that was in terms of coming on to a PhD. I don't have an IT degree. But what I did was I was able to successfully identify and describe to them when I was actually applying for membership that yes, I had some experience in IT as a systems administrator. I built library systems, built document management systems, implemented them, reviewed them, managed some projects in terms of working in IT sections. So yes, I had the actual experience that I could give them on my forms, but I could also actually describe the core skill set, because at the time that I applied for membership of Australian Computer Society, I had a graduate diploma in management and I had my librarianship degree. So I didn't actually have any other specific IT qualifications, and all I simply did was, it was the way that I actually described the core skill set that I actually had to argue that my base librarianship degree had the same similar elements as what students do for an IT degree. But the key thing was that why mine wasn't questioned as much in terms of, say, with librarianship, we like to say, if you've done this degree in this organisation, then it's been accredited, then you come through for membership to Australian Library and Information Association. Australian Computer Society does that as well, but what I'd done was actually successfully argue to them that the subjects that I'd done and the wording that I used on the form in relation to information, data and technology enabled them to actually say, okay, you've got all of the base body of knowledge requirements in terms of core skills and values that actually align to our membership, and so that it knew. So it's how you actually describe and use what you've actually already got in your toolkit. So in terms of exploring that just a little bit more, I've got some sheets on the tables, and these are some bodies of knowledge. I've got 4 of them on each table, and they're from 4 different disciplines. 4 different professional organisations or bodies that look after the body of knowledge for different professions. And what I'd like you to do is just spend five minutes or so and have a look at them and see across the different bodies of knowledge there's certain words that are consistently used across those 4 different disciplines in terms of what is the core body of knowledge, what makes that type of professional. And when we've actually had a look over for a few minutes and you've had a chat in your tables and your teams, then we'll come back and I'll actually tell you, some of them you'll be able to tell which discipline or which professional body they actually come from. But yeah, we'll have a chat about them and see what you actually find. Okay, we might come back together now. And I've had a little bit of a very quick look at what the tables have got. And you've come up with quite a few that are the same in terms of what you've found is consistent throughout those bodies of knowledge. Some of the key things that people have pointed out, what was probably the most well-cited term in there? Information. Yeah. Closely followed probably by a word starting with M. Yep, so information management is the core underlying skill in terms of managing, storing, retrieving, sharing, preserving throughout all of those bodies of knowledge. And the disciplines that actually belong to are quite different though. What are some of the other terms that you thought were consistent throughout there?
Service management.
Service management, yep. Clients, how you actually service those clients, the processes behind servicing those clients really, really well. Yep.
Like a cultural, ethical...
Ethics, social responsibility. Yep.
Development appears quite a times. Like,
yes, development.
Improving and increasing, dealing with new stuff.
Continuous improvement type process development, developing your services. Yeah, developing new services is quite similar throughout those. There's a word starting with A. Architecture. Yeah, architecture. And that's one of the really big buzzwords at the moment, particularly in relation to big data and data analytics and what people think is a data scientist. At University of SA last year, they launched a brand new degree called Data Science. That data science course and the body of knowledge and the core attributes of the students, of the skills that they come out with, look very similar to the librarianship course. But architecture is a core theme throughout all of those bodies of knowledge, plus a very hot topic. Along with another term as well that means the same thing, but there's 2 different words. One that's used in the journalism at the moment, it's very popular, but there's another word that we actually use as well. It's quite common across those bodies of knowledge that we looked at.
Information governance?
Information governance, yep, not quite what I was looking for, but you're quite right though. Information governance is another underlying core skill across all of those bodies of knowledge. Big data is not actually mentioned on those sheets. The words that is used is metadata. And we've been talking about metadata even when I did my degree 25 years ago. We talked about metadata then. So all of these other people that have come on board and stolen our word and used it for their own purposes, we need to get it back. And metadata and big data is quite a popular word, and particularly in computer science and in journals, in prominent journals that research is being published in. Big data is actually considered as an appropriate word. It's been used so much and regurgitated in the research literature so much for information, computer information science. It's now actually a recognised, definable term as big data, essentially metadata.
Kind of awful though.
It is, yes.
So is that a synonym for metadata, or?
It
Because
depends.
it doesn't make sense in terms of what metadata actually
is. Yes. There's a few people I think have pointed out to the Prime Minister over the last couple of months, and the Minister for IT, Communications Minister as well. So you're quite right. And in terms of, it depends which discipline you actually sit in as to what word you would actually use to actually describe it. We'd probably describe it as metadata or data. And computer information science at the moment calls it big data. Yeah. And so it depends which journals you're writing for or which discipline you actually come from as to what you would actually call it. But in terms of, say, talking about transferability of skills, what you've probably actually seen is that the librarianship body of knowledge, the one with all the words in it, funnily enough, the biggest one that was on your tables, and you probably picked which one was the librarianship one, the language that's actually used in terms of what we talked about, information management, information governance, metadata, architecture, all those same words are actually used throughout the other bodies of knowledge. And so if you actually went to an IT conference, the way to actually fit in is you be like everybody else, and that if you actually use the words big data, you know what those guys are talking about, because we know it, and been using a similar term far longer than what they actually have, and we understand the data structures more than what they usually do as well, to be able to talk to them. And that's how you get transferability of actual skills happening at a conference, in your workplaces, at home, at a barbecue, is that there's no point actually standing there and saying, yep, we know all about metadata, and this is the structure, and this is how we classify the information, we catalogue it, and we use GUI, and we use this, and we use that, is actually turning those words around into whatever's actually prominent at the moment. And unfortunately, at the moment, computer information science is actually winning in terms of the terminology that's actually used. But in terms of transferring your skills, getting other people to understand, recognise, respect and trust you to be able to take the knowledge and skills and values that you have and do other things with them, communicate with other people, particularly in the workplace, particularly say in the IT section, is actually using those language and skills and things that you actually have, and just using that slight different language to be able to communicate with people better and have a transferability of skills. And even though information was the underlying thing that's been through all the different job changes that I've had, and sometimes I've actually had different jobs related to information in totally different realms. I've had my librarian hat on and had a librarian's job, reference librarian or program director for a librarianship program, but also been an IT consultant simultaneously as well. So every day you've just got the same base core skill set, passion for information. The glue is information, but it's just how you're actually communicating what the base knowledge is that you actually know to different things. So next time, if you're wanting to go for a different type of job, put your toe in the water, or that you're trying to move sideways possibly, or that you're just even having a conversation with somebody and you're not actually getting too far, particularly if they're in the IT section, then just changing how you're actually using the skill set and knowledge that you actually have.
What were the other three areas that those documents can?
Oh, sorry, yes. Obviously the large one is librarianship. The one with the circle, that is the data analytics, DARMA, data analytics body of knowledge, DARMA for short. That's the circle, that's where that comes from. And that's in terms of, say, the data scientists, data analytics, all of the newest trendy job title at the moment. That's their body of knowledge. And you've probably guessed that thank you. This one here is actually the Australian Computer Society body of knowledge in this table here. You wouldn't actually think so, probably, from actually looking at that. It's, what actually identifies a technologist compared to a librarian is that some programming and some coding skills possibly in there is actually missing as a core facet, I would suggest. And then in terms of this one, this one's actually a Records and Information Management Professional, RIMPA Association, Records Management Association. This is also very similar to the archivist's body of knowledge as well. RIMPA and the archivists, when they actually did this body of knowledge, there was input from both of those professional societies into this actual body of knowledge. And then there's a raft of others in terms of when I was actually doing research for my degree. We had to put it into the appendix. It was so large in terms of the number of bodies of knowledge related to information and information governance just in Australia, the number of regulatory frameworks, things like Information Acts, Records Acts, Archive Acts, cases, court cases, in terms of mismanagement or poor management of information. The number of pages that it ran to, just in terms of information governance regulation in Australia, was absolutely huge, and we had to actually put it in an appendix. So in Australia, information management is a huge, huge industry, and it can take you into so many places and into so many things in terms of academia, education, health, research, consulting, and being at a management level or at a hands-on level and doing so many things as well. This is just a summary of those different things that we actually had, and I've just pulled out a couple in terms of, say, classification, taxonomy and metadata, data and information, similar term to metadata, similar activity to what you guys actually just did. So in terms of that exercise and wrapping up today, so we can hand over to Barbara, and Barbara can talk about information services here at Torrens, is that I hope that exercise has actually shown you that information is a fantastic industry to be in, that you're all passionate about information because you're librarians and you're here today, and that you can actually take that core skill, knowledge base that you actually have and transpose it to actually make an impact in your own careers and in other people's lives as well. So that's it from me in terms of this afternoon. Thank you very much for coming, but I'm going to switch slides.
Questions,
and,
Liz?
Oh, questions, yes.
And turn the air conditioner off is the other thing.
They said at 23. It's pretty good.
God, it just suddenly went mad, I know.
Does anyone have any questions? You're welcome after Barbara has spoken as well. You go on a tour, stop, have a coffee and a tea as well, have some more cake. And we've also got our representative here from Career Advisory Services as well. And Giselle. Janice. Damn it. And so Janice is here also that she can answer any questions as well. And so we'll just switch slides. Yep. The slides. I stole one of the slides.
I stole them. Hello, my name is Barbara Cote. I'm the librarian here. The reason I wanted to quickly speak to you at the end of this session is that when you do a tour, you'll see there is not much of a library here. Physically, it is tiny. So I thought it was important to explain how it got established in this way. Okay, basically, the university library was established to support teaching and learning. So basically, we've been working with the educational designers and the academics to ensure that the resources they require are available electronically, because 75% of our students are online. And a lot of this model was built on Walden University, which is in the US, and so a lot of resources from the library go into making sure that the materials are available, either by subscribing to databases or arranging direct licensing with publishers. Okay. In terms of the major systems that the library system uses here, basically I started in January last year, university started in October, but teaching started in January. I started 2 weeks after teaching started, so it's all been a bit of a catch-up. So we use EBSCO Discovery Layer as the search engine across all of our resources. We've also recently implemented OCLC WorldShare in terms of our hard copy collection and our RFID self-checkout. The LibGuides is used for developing the website. The Content DM, which is a part of OCLC, is what we're using for our repository. And they're the main databases that we use. Are any of you from university backgrounds at all? You'd notice we don't have Science Direct. Elsevier is, because we're such a sort of small institution, is slightly out of our realm. So that's why we have to supplement with licensed resources. And we use your YBP Gobi for ordering. So hopefully most of those systems are ones that you might have used before, fairly standard amongst universities. One of the things about being a private university is that we're not a member of CALL, we're actually a member of COFI, which is the private university higher education group. So we don't have access to the same deals. But we do have some, but we have to do some of the negotiation on our own. Okay, another aspect to our electronic classroom is that all the books for each of the courses are given to the student as part of their course, and it's built into Blackboard, which is the learning management system. So, you know, we spend some time helping with sourcing that resource as well. Obviously that might change, but it, also all the individual readings like articles and videos and things are sourced directly in the classroom or via LibGuide. So we work pretty closely with the academics and educational designers, as I said, at a course level. So I can tell you what each of the courses are running here, and yours are particularly good, aren't they? And the hard copy collection, which, as I said, you'll see is very small, is geared towards the campus students. On campus is design, public health, just a few, and BCom and MBA. So most of the hard copy books are really the hard copies of those electronic books. So although we provide the electronic books, provide training in the electronic books, there are still students who would rather look at the hard copy. So those materials are out there and can be borrowed. In order, as we're accredited with TEXA and Cricos like any other university, that's not adequate in terms of a university library. So we supplement by providing Adelaide University community access, and we have an agreement with Adelaide University for the students to have a borrowing card with them. Hopefully one day we'll have a large enough collection that we won't need to do that, but at the moment that's how we can ensure that students have the depth of research. One course that Anna didn't mention was the degree by higher research. We have quite a few PhD students here, so obviously with that group they need access to a far greater body of resources than we have. Okay, the current focus and challenge of the library service here, which is neat, it's not enormous, is developing more video support for the resources. In the student surveys it's come up, you know, that they want more guidance on how to use resources. Developing an actual e-reading repository rather than licensing directly in Blackboard, just in terms of our copyright and intellectual property management. We've actually just put in our first Herd C application with, so we're working with the research school in terms of developing those relationships, and ERA will be here in July, so the one person from university background understands that that's a large part of being a part of the university culture. So that's something new that's happening. And also, as you might have noticed from the first slide, we're a member of Laureate Australia. That consists of Torrens, Blue Mountains College, Think Education, and Chifley Business School, which just came online last Wednesday. So we, in terms of a library service, while originally I was employed by Torrens University, we've now been moved into a shared services model. So a lot of the shared services, like student services, we actually are part of one organisation who have service level agreements with Torrens, Blue Mountain, Think. So there will be more integration of those library resources going forward. So that's obviously a big challenge that we're working on. This website is our current website if you ever want to see our resources. Also, as some of you might have found, we have a little problem with OCLC putting data, because when you're with WorldShare, instead of you cataloguing onto the National Library of Australia, it's just sending the records across. And I clicked the wrong database, which was one of the ebook databases. So I had massive requests from Monash and all that for all these materials that I didn't actually have. So all of our resources are discoverable through the Trove, but take them with a grain of salt sometimes. It's not quite accurate. The site, as I said, is based on a very basic model because it's been driven by course level access, but it's evolving and will probably look far more like a standard library site in coming weeks actually. But at the moment this is the way it looks, and it's a publicly accessible site. So thank you. That's all I wanted to quickly say, because when you get out there you'll see there's books one.
Thank you, Barbara. I think one thing that I thought while Barbara was just speaking is the difference between, in terms of how you service your clients and what happens actually here at Torrens, is that Barbara is actually subsumed into our daily business as academics. So we're not actually in two separate buildings or anything like that. Barbara actually sits out on the floor and sits out with us as well as academics. And so we talk to Barbara more than what we probably do other people in our own actual academic, like as in project management as well. And she's actually subsumed into the business. She sits beside us, with us, she works with us, she's part of the actual team all day, every day. So it's not actually a separate building or structure or service that you actually go to, even though it is a shared service provider. She's actually subsumed into the business of teaching. So yes. Thank you.
Anyone got any questions, or you just want to come and have a look around? I'm aware that Anna has another meeting to go to.
I need to go and facilitate another workshop.
So I'm more than, can you help me too?
Yes.
Take you on a tour of small abode. We also do still have the campus at Victoria Square, but it's mainly Chancery. Oh, Melinda, you can help me too.
Oh, I can. That's ready. I was just here to push the button.
So, Lauren, do you want to say anything before we come to you?
No, I think we're ready for a tour.
Cool.